This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0.
Can you believe it?
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we are bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir, how you doing? How you doing? It is the end of the season recap. 19-20 season is finally done. Stick a fork in it. I think it ran a full 12 months. But how you feeling?
Pretty close. I would have to actually do the math to see if it was a full 365. Unique season. One where Manchester United, look, top four, baby. Champions League music next season. I think that's the highlight. 3 semifinals. Got bounced 3 times. Tough stuff. But we did get our Portuguese Magnifico. And Ole, we did play a lot of Oles at the wheel. So I'm going to say overall, a lot of ups and downs, inconsistent, but a great finish for all Manchester United fans kicking on into this next season.
It's progress. There's measurable progress. I think if you had asked a lot of fans, if you asked me at the beginning of the season, would you have taken third place and no trophies, 3 semifinals, so you did make some movement in cups, you just didn't finish anyone off, I would have taken it. Because third place, it shows consistency over the course of the season, even if we didn't have it, right? The first part of the season, we really weren't consistent, but we just pushed on with the signing of our Portuguese Magnifico. So all in all, progress. But we gotta invest.
This is the recap pod, sir.
I know, but we're talking about this season, next season, what we need and what we don't need.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah, you got it.
No. Investments in the club aside, I'm going to look at how we collapsed at the end of the season prior, then finishing strong this season, especially given COVID-19, everything around the club. We played well going into the shutdown. Coming out of the shutdown, we played well. Very difficult to do, so credit to Ole and his staff for being able to get the players up for those matches, because huge value for the fans, for the club in making Champions League football. Could you imagine, think of playing Europa League next year? It just hurts your heart. I don't know if I could do another year. So to me, that's the most important thing. United's back in the Champions League where we belong. Hopefully we can get, maybe semifinals, sir.
Champions League
semifinals.
Have a laugh. Have another drink of that cold brew.
Pass around to 16 at the very least.
I hope so. As long as we get out of the group stage, we'll take that one step at a time. But you know what? Not a lot of coaches and not a lot of teams went into the restart and came out of the restart in good form. They either would, came into it with bad form and came out in good, but Ole was able to do both. So I think that was a testament to just keeping the morale high, keeping, the attitude right. And it kind of at the end, the wheels were a little wobbly. I think he was really relying on that starting 11 and kind of calling out why this squad needs some additions made. But all in all, there's progress here. There's a young squad with a lot of talent. Our front three, I think, is elite. One of the best in Europe. Will only get better. The additions, we know where we need to make them. Even Sancho might not be a priority at the moment, given how much cash we got.
No, and we'll get to the Sancho news a little later, but I just think as a fan, the philosophy, and you're starting to see it just bubble over on Twitter talking about investment in the team. Everyone's so upset at the Glazers, which I agree, and I am as well. But we're in it for the long haul. I mean, I picked this club, was it almost 15 years ago to root for? I'm going to be cheering for Manchester United no matter what, through the dark days, through the brilliant days, sir. I watched the Treble documentary. That helped me. That was really enjoyable. If you're having a tough day with these signings, go watch The Impossible Dream, the Treble documentary. I'll tell you, I could just live in that time. There's a lot of replay it over and over.
I mean, the great thing about being a Manchester United fan is there's so much good nostalgia porn. You can just go back and just watch all the goals from 93, 94 season or 06, 07 season. It's just, why not? Sometimes you need that. It's straight to the veins of just good old feels. Because this summer, I don't think we're going to get it.
Sir, it's better to have loved and have lost than not to have loved at all. It's better to win the treble.
No, I agree. I agree. Well, we're going to be talking like that a lot to our kids. It's going to be a long time before we raise another Premier League trophy, unfortunately.
So wait, how long? Well, we've had this conversation before. How many years? What do you think?
I mean, we were talking honestly. I don't know if this is pod, but I think if the Glazers don't sell the club, I think we're going to go the full Scouse 30, bro. I think we're going to go like,
come on.
Honestly, I think another 23 years till, our kids are like 24. We're going to go have a bunch of pints with them in England. I think it might be a while. And this is
That's a pessimistic view.
Of course it is.
You actually, last time we had this conversation on the pod, you were optimistic.
I thought a decade.
No, I said that you have to win it within a decade post Sir Alex to basically get rid of the bad juju around not having him around. Because when you lose a manager, you lose that type of form. You need to get it back. And I think, LVG put a lot of money in that squad, didn't work out. It's just been a lot of whiffs. And I think we're going to go the full 10. I think it's probably I'm going to say within 20. I'm not going to be as pessimistic. It could be 5 or 7. It could be 5. You could do it within 5 years if everything went the right way. It just depends. Like looking at it now, we're in it for the long haul, I think, as far as the investment in the team and the club is concerned right now. But look, we could win it next season. We really could. We really could win it next season.
No, we can't. We're not going to win next season.
We can.
With these clowns at top.
We can.
We can, but we won't because they're not going to make the right steps to push this team to the next step and make it so we can compete. Because this season coming up, it's all going to be about depth, right? There's so many matches, so tight, the fixtures, that we need more players because we've got a lot of good core members, but we need additions. And the club just ain't moving.
Where was Mason Greenwood the season before? He didn't, he wasn't.
So who's the next Mason Greenwood? Garner? I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
There's United changed. We used to go out, buy Lukaku, buy Pogba, buy the big money signings. That was the Mourinho era, right? Then all of a sudden now it's like the Dan James, the cheaper signings. Bruno got a good deal for him. I think United are going to go through this lull where they're going to rely on youth. They're not going to be not going to make as much splashes in the transfer market, if you will, with the big cash because we don't have it. And it's going to be opportunity for youth to come through. When did youth come through? Do us well, sir?
Yeah, but this is a phenomenon imposed on us by
I agree,
Glazers,
but
right? Like you have to remember what is the philosophy of this club. We've always been buying the biggest and best players throughout Europe and England, right? Like before they came in 03, 04, we were buying Rio. Buying Rio from Leeds, dude, for $30 million, breaking the transfer fee on a defender. We bought 18-year-old
But he was
Wayne
up
Rooney.
and coming, right?
Yeah, but it was like buying Van Dijk.
So it's like you get Grealish.
Way better than Grealish, bro.
Grealish is young English coming up.
Sancho. It's like buying Sancho.
Yeah, but the price on Sancho.
Grealish should be like if we were buying like Wayne Bridge, bro. It's like, he's like not that good. He's good, but he's not going to be a player. I don't think he's going to be a player that's like remembered.
How dare you hate on Jack Grealish?
Dude.
You were singing his praises.
Because he's not coming. 80 million pounds, bro. What are you talking about? 80 million? And you could get Jadon Sancho for 108? We're renting already.
All right, I think we've sufficiently already just opened the can of worms on the transfer window, and you can see that we disagree. So before we jump into the transfer puppetry, we'll address that later in the pod with some news. Quick PSA for the podcast. We just tweeted out our fantasy league. You guys submitted the survey. We listened. You guys want a fantasy league. We basically created our own, the American Red Devils. We tweet out the league code. You can go find it on our Twitter account. If you can't find it, you can email us, americanreddevils@gmail.com. We will send it to you. If you join, there's nothing to join, free league, but we're giving away a signed autograph photo of Tony Martial. You can see the photo of the autograph picture on Twitter as well. So please join. It's free. You play all season. You win. You get the Tony Martial photo. Me and Alex are in the league as well. If we win, we get it. So there you go.
End of. It'll be good banter all season. Those fantasy leagues, they're hard to win, but we'll have good fun. It'll be American Red Devils and something to do.
I'll tell you, I was much better at fantasy when Ronaldo was back in the EPL.
Instant captain.
It was just like very easy. You put all United players, you win. Now I hate Liverpool, hate City, so it's hard to like be good at fantasy because I don't want to put those players on my team. You can check out our blog, americanreddevils.com. We had a great Sancho article Hashtag Glazers Out as well. A few other Glazers Out articles. And if you want to contribute, email us, americanreddevils@gmail.com. We're looking for people who want to write, get the fan perspective out there. This podcast, our content platform for fans, by fans, independent fan content, sir. No biases, no sponsors, no nothing. Also, write a review on iTunes. Support the pod. If you write a review, you get a free sticker. Just email it to us at Gmail, americanreddevils@gmail.com. Buy some merch. Click on store on our website. We're getting hats. We're getting mugs. We got the scarves, sir. We're getting the new scarves coming out. Unfortunately, we didn't add any silverware to that scarf. But we have some exciting things. Check it out, americanreddevils.com. Click on store. That is it. Don't have any ads. Just two fans in the bunker talking smack. All right, let's jump in. Getting into the 2019-2020 season recap. What a doozy, sir. Whew. We're starting with the transfers from last season. We brought in Dan James, $15 million, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, big money Harry, getting lit city in Greece, baby. Get to that a little later.
Having a good time.
He's protecting his sister, sir. There's a lot of different storylines there. We will address them all. Out. Smalling, loan to Roma. Again, Eddie can't even sell Chris Smalling. Lukaku sold him to Inter for a loss. He goes on, scores an insane
34
amount.
goals.
34 goals. You sell him for a loss. Unbelievable. We lose money on Lukaku. Sanchez loaned him to Inter and paid his wages. Terrible business by Eddie. Dean Henderson loaned him to Sheffield United. I thought that was a good deal. Darmian gone. Herrera on a free. See you later. Go to PSG.
He's going to the Champions League final.
Might win the Champions League. He looks great.
He did play well.
He looks great for PSG.
He's why they won that game. He was breaking up the midfield all day.
And fans are like, well, we offered him a deal, yada, yada. It's like, no, he wanted to stay. He's come out in the press. He said it, that basically he was disrespected by the board. And people are blaming that it was Ole or what was it, Mourinho didn't want to give him the deal. Look, Eddie screwed the pooch on that one. You have a valuable player, you re-up them, and then you can sell them for money. So you always have players on a contract so they don't leave on a free. Herrera's worth $30-40 million. We could use the cash right now. This is bad business.
This is why it's going to take 23 more years to win a title, bro. And
Woodward,
you put Ed Woodward in charge. You can't expect him to suddenly get it right.
Yeah, and he couldn't really sell players, couldn't really make a lot of money with the outs. And then you look at the ins. Harry, I would argue he overpaid for Harry Maguire. At the end of the day, Ole wanted him, so he got the deal done. Our defense did improve this season. Starting in August, it was a great start, but it fizzled out. 4 games in the EPL, 5 points, and we end at 7th place in the table. Everyone remembers that Chelsea drubbing 4-0. Then we drew Wolves 1-1. Crystal Palace, we lost at home. Shit match. Absolutely shit game. And then we drew Southampton, sir. Tough times in August.
Yeah, I mean, everyone remembers that Chelsea game. We were at Mad Dog in the Fog, pre-COVID, pre-babies, having a great time.
Yeah,
lots of dark ales.
Drinking
making
like
a
6
scene.
Guinness.
We were like outnumbered 50-1 and just made 10 times as much noise as their chump
Wearing
fans.
our Avram Glazer clown shirts.
After the summer we had, but it started hot, and then the rest of August kind of was endemic of this, basically the season pre-Bruno.
Dan James on fire, 3 goals in 4 games, player of the month for Manchester United. He came out of the gates hot, faded quickly after that. Martial injured against Crystal Palace. So, injuries out of the gate already started in the that narrative. September, tough seas for Ole's ship. Again, headwinds, 3 games, 4 points, finished 10th in the table, if you can remember this. Same as last September under Mourinho. We beat Leicester 1-0. West Ham away. We lost 2-0.
I remember that.
Arsenal 1-1 with that offsides. I was actually in Hawaii on vacation. Remember, you could go on vacation. That was great times. EFL Cup, we drew Rochdale, the Dale, and advanced at Old Trafford on penalties. Took penalties to beat the Dale, if you remember that one.
I do.
Europa League, we beat Astana at home. Board FC, baby. And McTominay was player of the month. Also, De Gea penned his new 4-year deal in September. Will that big money make De Gea's gaffes go away?
4 years? We just signed it. I thought it was a year ago. The form running up to this deal wasn't good.
It's almost a year ago from now.
It's true, actually, in September. His form running up to it wasn't the best it's been ever since that World Cup, and hasn't been the best since. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Dino competing for him for that spot might be what he needs, but we're going to see it's going to be all playing out in real time over the next 12 months.
October, we're at the headline, tough times at the Tyne, sir. 3 games in the league, 4 points. That's it. The Newcastle loss being a low. We drew Liverpool, and we beat Norwich 3-1. And if you remember, this is when Ole's head was on the chopping block. Per Give Me Sport, Manchester United to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if they lose to Norwich. This was all over the press.
It was.
That Newcastle loss was a low, and we have that De Gea presser, David De Gea, with some really stark words coming after that Newcastle loss.
Everything. I think a lot of things to improve. They were a better team today. Like I said before, I don't know what to say really, but just keep trying, keep fighting, keep improving every day. I don't know, it's a hard moment for us, difficult moment, but we are united, we need to keep fighting.
There's been quite a few tough times since you've been at the club, a lot of years where you got the team out of trouble. Is this as tough as you've known it?
Yeah, probably is the worst times, the most difficult time since I've been here.
Why worse than before? Why tougher than before?
I don't know. This is why, because I don't know why. What is happening?
There you go. You have it, De Gea sulking. I mean, you can't hide that. It's a tough look.
Something I just his honesty there just makes me still rate him as a human being and as a player. But he could see it on his face, right? Just signed this big ass deal, and the team is playing like garbage. We knew it. It was tough times in the fall last year.
I wouldn't even let him on the bus after the match. I get a taxi back to Manchester.
And I probably don't remember the gaff. How bad was that gaff against Newcastle?
No, there was no gaff against Newcastle, sir.
Okay, well
he was just the Newcastle loss was that bad, where he was that was the whole point of what his commentary was.
I figured he contributed as well in some way.
No. It was Matty Longstaff with a great strike. He would go on after this to make errors, but I think what that presser sums up is just he's so gutted, right? At that point, Manchester United 12th in the table after that loss. Sliding hard. I mean, we drew Liverpool. We were in 14th. And he's just penned a four-year deal. And as a Manchester United fan, this is probably, very. I thought Ole's job was up for grabs. I mean, this is really they hit the low point, and then it was onward and upward from here. I'm glad the Eddie didn't pull the trigger on Ole. I mean, who else could come in? People are talking about Pochettino. We even talked about on the pod. This is a very frustrating patch of form for United.
No, it was probably one of the darkest periods, other than like right before Mourinho got sacked, and it was also a very dark patch. But he toughed it out through October. It got tough again in January, December. And there were some other rough patches as well. It wasn't until our import from Portugal really just switched things up at Manchester United.
In the EFL Cup, we beat Chelsea away 2-1 with the Rashford Ronaldo free kick. That's for goal of the season. A lot of people do rate that finish. Absolutely love Pippen. Chelsea did it 3 times this year. Europa League finished first in the group. We beat AZ Alkmaar. We drew AZ Alkmaar and beat Partizan on a Martial penalty. Player of the month, McTominay scored Manchester United's 2,000th goal at Norwich. That Norwich victory put some air in the sails of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he wasn't so much on the block, but still United got to improve when we're that far down in the table. November, steadying the ship, 3 games, 4 points. Bournemouth lost away. We were supposed to go to that game, and my son was born early, so we had to cancel that trip. Brighton beat them 3-1, which is great. Pereira, McTominay, and Rashford on the score sheet. Love to see it. And then we had that epic Sheffield United game where we're clawing back into the league. Those 3 points would have gone a long way, but then De Gea error in this one. Late. This was big. And we ended up drawing Sheffield United, finishing the league in 9th in November. Europa League lost with the kids away in Astana, but still finished first in the group, force clinching group home against AZ Alkmaar. So, look, We beat Partizan 3-0. Astana, we lost, if you recall. He played kids going out to Kazakhstan, and then we had to win the game coming back. Player of the month with Marcus Rashford. He was finding form, scored 3 goals. 10 total, career best is 13, so he was on his way for his best total of goals for Manchester United. I mean, unbelievable for Marcus Rashford really coming into it.
Yeah, and this was a big time in the season, right? Because the results are tough. We're hanging in there, like not in great form. But Martial was absent. Rashford was stepping in, getting some big goals, scoring some big penalties as well. So both of them have just been kind of feeding off each other all season, and that's just great to see.
So, November finishes up. We're 9th in the EPL. We're 1st in the Europa League group. You love to see it. December, big games, big results. I mean, this is kind of really where the rubber met the road for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. 7 games, 14 points. That's more like it. Averaging 2 points a game in the league. Unfortunately, you need to do that over an entire season to try to win it. Tough draw to Villa after resting the first team from the Astana fixture. If you recall, we did send all the kids to Kazakhstan, rested all the first team players, and then we came out with a dud and drew Aston Villa. Grealish with the banger at home.
Yep.
That one I did was kind of annoyed. We could have clinched the Europa League group and decided to play the kids, coming back home, drawing Villa. I mean, you can't have that.
No, and there's been instances of this, right, where we rested a team, thought we were thinking two steps ahead, and ended up just like blowing up in Ole's face. I remember this being one of them. The Aston Villa one was tough. Just something about whenever we play a team in the bottom half of the table, one of their players steps up and scores a banger. Had to be Jack Grealish. He's auditioning for a
you
job.
hated him. You hated on him.
I hated on him, but
Amazing results against Tottenham and City, but another throwaway game against Everton. So, look, we draw Villa 2-2, beat Tottenham 2-1, beat City 2-1. And this was kind of that real tight turnaround where I thought Ole's job was on the line. Basically 3 days between Tottenham and City. He gets 2 wins. Unbelievable. Then we draw Everton. Greenwood
saved us.
Yeah, Greenwood saved us. 1-1. Watford, we lost 2-0. De Gea with another super gaff against Watford. Terrible stuff. And I think that was Watford's first win of the year. Newcastle United, we beat them 4-1. Greenwood on the score sheet again. You're starting to see, Mason Greenwood coming on the scene. And then Burnley beat them away 2-0, finishing the season in 5th. So look, December we started in 9th. We finished in 5th. You're starting to see that. 14 points, 7 games. Huge improvement in the league. In the League Cup, we beat Colchester United 3-0 to advance to semifinals, which we would draw against City. Europa League, we clinched the top spot in our group, beating AZ at home 4-0. Greenwood with 2 goals. Again, Mason Greenwood, December was the month when he started breaking onto the scene. Player of the month was Rashford. He had that brace at Tottenham, but he would go down shortly thereafter with that back injury.
Ole was riding. He was riding his thoroughbred.
It was overuse.
Of course.
A lot of this stuff is overuse. And you saw how tired we were finishing the league. That's the theme. Inconsistency, relying on individual brilliance, and just not being able to rotate and get players rest. It's like we need consistent form with rotation.
And not backfill in the positions that you got rid of, right? You didn't replace Lukaku or Sanchez. You brought in defenders, which is good, but arguably you should have brought in Maguire a year before. So it's just Bruno Schumann brought in the summer. It's just we're always late to the party, right? We're going to miss out on Sancho. If we're lucky, we'll get another sniff at him. But that's kind of been, the MO of Woodward & Co. It's just that they're late.
Hey, everyone's checking their watches right now. Late. January, always darkest before the dawn. 3 points from 4 games. Tough loss to Arsenal, Liverpool, and rock bottom ugly game against Burnley at home. Look, we had a great December. And then Arsenal 2-0. Pepe scores against us. We lose away at the Emirates Plastic. Norwich City, we beat them 4-0. Easy stuff. Greenwood on the score sheet again. Liverpool away, we lost 2-0. Burnley 2-0 at home. The Burnley at home, that was a tough one. And then we finish still in 5th. So we didn't really move around, other teams dropping as well. With January, tough times for United. We needed to strengthen. We needed a boost. Where can we get that, sir? I have no idea. FA Cup, 2 takes at Wolves. Basically brutal after the replay because of the draw at the Molineux. Mata scores at home to put us through. United roll at Tranmere Rovers. Ole is getting the heat. Huge win from Rashford. Rashford injured his back against Wolves, sir. So, this was it. Rashford down. And we're like, how could we survive without Rashford?
Yeah, we didn't know. I think this might have forced their hand as well. Maybe they didn't even want to plunk on Bruno in January. But with Rashford down, Pogba's still nowhere to be found. Help. Send help.
So, yeah, in the FA Cup round 3, Wolverhampton draw away. Then we have to play them at home again. We get a Mata goal in the 67th minute to put us through. I mean, you're playing 180 minutes of football against Wolves. You get 1 goal. We're already tired. And then after Wolves, we draw Tranmere Rovers. And we just absolutely smoked them 6-0. Maguire got a goal, which was great in that game as well. You remember that pitch? Absolute slop. Love it.
You got a banger, too. He got like a hit outside the box. But that pitch, that was reminiscent of the football days back in the day, sir.
Yeah, EFL Cup, we had the City up and downs. United look unconvincing at Old Trafford. We lose 3-1, but then we come back and we beat them 1-0 in their house. But it wasn't good enough on aggregate now in the EFL Cup semifinals. So we lose on aggregate 3-2. City were shook when we were playing them in their house. It seems like we're always better playing at the Etihad.
No, totally. And we had him in March too, because I just think whatever Ole was doing with City, it was really working. Except we had a chance, right? You're talking about the player of the month, who was Fred, played all 9 matches, 50th appearance against Norwich for the club. But he had that chance of the free kick, remember, the death at the Etihad in the second leg of the Carabao Cup. And Mott should have taken it. I still remember that. It's like, why is Fred? When does Fred ever hit a free kick?
I know. Yeah. Don't get me started on Fred's free kicks. But look, Fred came in. He was playing well before the restart. After restart, didn't do so well. He's emerging here. Player of the month. He was basically like guaranteed starter every match.
He was playing a good job. Him and McTominay were shoring up the midfield. And then when we made this big signing, it was all about bringing in Matic, because he was kind of the linchpin to bring it all together. So, I don't know, Fred, he was in good form before the restart, and then coming back, he just never got his sniff. And when he had it, he didn't take it.
January transfer window, the ins, we're going to say Nathan Bishop from Southend, Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, man Bruno.
Big one.
Odia Nagalo, Shanghai Shenhua. I'm butchering that probably, on loan. Now, here's the deal. We think about the transfer window in January. What did they do with Bruno? Left it late. What did they do with Igalo? Last day, phone in, Josh King, Igalo, anyone, cut rate deal will do it. Just sloppy business from Manchester United. But at the end of the day, the improvements, they were great. I mean, could you argue that maybe £5 million getting Bruno 30 days earlier make a bigger difference? Who knows? But we're seeing the same thing right now. What does Eddie like to do? Likes to leave it late. Other clubs getting their business done early. Ake to City. You're seeing Arsenal, Willian. I mean, these are types of deals that are passing us by. Like, we could have got Ake. We could have got Willian. I don't really want Willian, but there's no upfront fee. Fits into Manchester United's cash crunch right now. We're just letting our rivals strengthen at the moment. Who did we get rid of in January? Cameron Borthwick Jackson. We loaned him out. Votek, goalie, we extended his loan. Hamilton, loan. Rojo, loan. Tanner, loan. Max Taylor, loan. And Ashley Young went to Inter Milan permanently. Ashley Young did do a job for us earlier in the season, but we let him go to the Inter Milan, who famously lost the Europa League final with Lukaku on goal. Amazing.
To the number one troll. It's going to be Sevilla. Those guys, I mean, they look good. Inter started the better team. Sevilla finished the better team. The champions of shithousery globally.
But hey, we talked about all those transfers. There's only one that matters. Bruno Fernandes. Let's jump in the announcement here from Sky Sports.
Weeks of wrangling, Manchester United are finally poised to land their number one transfer target and potentially the biggest signing of the January transfer window. A deal has been agreed for Bruno Fernandes. Kaveh Soloko has the story. So, one question, Kaveh, is this actually going to happen?
It is almost done. The only thing that's holding it up is there are lawyers in Lisbon now completing the paperwork. Once that paperwork is done, Bruno Fernandes is expected to fly in tomorrow to Manchester to have his medical and complete the paperwork. But if all goes according to plan, he will be a Manchester United player before the deadline on Friday, and there's an outside chance that he could even be involved in the game at Wolves on Saturday evening. He could play in that game if everything goes according to plan. Now, What changed today? Because all month there has been stalemate. We've been talking about Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United almost every day. The position had been that Manchester United were willing to pay 50 million euros, but Sporting wanted 60 million euros. There was absolute stalemate. This morning, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said that United may well not sign anybody this window. Then in the afternoon, we were told that Barcelona had made a move to sign Bruno Fernandes. They wanted to sign him. They were offering more than Manchester United, but they wanted to send him out on loan to Valencia immediately. Then Manchester United retaliated by putting in 2 increased bids, and the second bid was accepted by Sporting Lisbon.
Once again, Eddie's masterclass of negotiation goes, we're not going to pay more. What? We'll pay it. It's like, oh my God.
Genius.
That is the moment. Bruno, like just watching that announcement, just the feels, just Bruno is everything and more that we want him to be. It's great to have him as a United player. Like, you know, unbelievable. Unbelievable, Bruno Fernandes.
Even people that set their expectations as high as we did, he still exceeded them. It's like he was absolutely signing in the summer.
Mile.
He's probably the best signing we've made since Fergie left, to be honest.
Bye!
Yeah. Legend. I mean, he's just like such a player, elite mentality, a winner. He lifts everybody else around him. And I think he's only going to get better and better as he plays more in the league. What a signing. I mean, let's
Sir, have a dark ale. Hats off to Bruno Fernandes. February, Bruno, show us the way. EPL 7 points from 3 games. Another tough draw at Wolves, followed by a big win at Stamford Bridge and a convincing win against Watford at Old Trafford. We drew Wolves 0-0. Chelsea beat them 2-0. Martial, Maguire goal. Maguire. Watford 3-0, drubbing. Fernandes penalty. You recall that one. Finished it in emphatic style. And then in the Europa League, after a 1-1 draw in Belgium, United batter Bruges in the second leg at Old Trafford.
Fred with a brace.
5-0. Fred getting some goals, sir. Unbelievable. Player of the month, Bruno. Played in 9 games. Scored 3 goals, 4 assists. The trend would continue. March, pandemic problems. 4 points from 2 games in the league. Tough draw at Goodison Park, 1-1. But then we beat City 2-0 against Old Trafford. Famously, the last game played at home in front of fans. Sir, McTominay finishing off in emphatic style. What a goal from Scott McTominay.
If there was hope for the rest of the season, it was a great way to end, the last bit of football before going into the pause, because that win at home against City, we were the better team the whole game. Rewatching that game, it's a great one to watch. And then McTominay just banging it in from 40 yards out. What a win.
Bruno shushes Pep Guardiola on the touchline.
Legends.
Strong, absolute strong move. Like joining a new club, already talking shit to the rivals, sir. Things you love to see. You absolutely love to see it.
He knows his place. He knows he's a Manchester United legend already by just shushing, our noisy neighbors. So good for him. Pep just loves to run his mouth.
And then the game that was going to be played next was Tottenham. Again, another game we're going to go to, and it's cursed. So maybe we shouldn't try to go to a Manchester United game here in a while.
Let's not say that.
No, it's like we're going to go to Bournemouth. Going to go to Tottenham away. Pandemic, just shit happens, sir. Shit happens. This could be the longest time we've gone without going to see Manchester United. We made it an annual trip almost twice a year, actually, some years. And now,
the ways would allow.
Yeah, now it's... I miss it. I miss the away scenes.
We all do. I can't wait. I'm baking on 2021.
Well, the last game we went to was PSG United at home where we lost.
I remember well.
That's the first game we've gone together where Manchester United lost.
It's the first game I've seen United lose in person.
Yeah, so same as well. FA Cup, Manchester United handle a Rooney-led Derby County. Beer guzzling Wayne Rooney, cig smoking, beer guzzling Sir Alex Ferguson, smack talking Wayne Rooney.
Have a good time. He's enjoying himself.
Yeah, that's why the thing is, Rooney used to play for us, and then Maguire gets into some trouble. It's like Rooney was fighting around the world. He started that.
That's why this is nothing. This incident, this is nothing.
Wayne Rooney is drunk driving a VW bus of some random chick he met at a pub, bro. He's got oh my God, love Wayne Rooney.
Miss Waza.
We beat Derby County 3-0. Igalo, 2 goals there. Europa League, we smoke Lask in front of an empty stadium. That's when they started the no fans thing away in Austria. 5-0. Igalo, James, Mata, Greenwood, and Pereira on the score sheet. Great game. We thought at that point maybe football could be played with fans, and shortly after that, Tottenham game canceled, travel bans, restrictions, COVID-19, the lockdown, you know the drill. 3 months of us potting, watching classic matches, doing everything we can to keep the drive alive. Uncertainty around football returning, but the EPL would just show international sport how it's done. By hook or by crook, they figured it out. And we were back in June, sir. Can you imagine we're playing EPL matches in June?
It was good to have the game back. Good to see the boys back. We were just worried that the season would be canceled altogether. Thankfully, I think the whole way they put it together, and between like FA in England and just European competitions, I would say like they did a terrific job.
Unbelievable.
It was without a hitch. It was like really like terrific.
Oh,
at the bottom.
And then the schedule was insane. Like games Tuesday, Thursday, noon, like weekends. It was awesome. All fans, I'm sure everyone enjoyed having it come back. Like watching the classic matches is great, but nothing compared to watching live football with stakes, especially United with the race for top 4. It was nervy. In June, 7 points from 9 available after a disappointing 1-1 draw with Spurs. We come back. We get the penalty from Bruno Fernandes. We draw Spurs. The greatest troll will take the draw, especially considering the fight for top 4. We're in it with Tottenham. They started sliding. Home, we beat Sheffield United 3-0. Martial with a hattie, first one since RVP at Manchester United. And then Brighton Hove Albion away, we beat them 3-0. Greenwood and a Fernandes brace, sir. Played very well.
He played very well, and we had a very pretty goal in this game. Ready for that?
Absolutely.
It's a danger zone again, but Maguire with a great head away, and now Matic helps it on, and Manchester United breaking furiously. Rashford all the way across goal, and what a finish that is! Oh, Bruno Fernandes couldn't have hit it any better, and that is classic counter-attack. A really devastating move.
Great towering header by Harry Maguire, and within 3 passes, United a 3-0 up with an absolutely brilliant finish.
It's a vintage United goal. Reminds you of that Rooney Ronaldo counter. Matic with an unbelievable outlet to Greenwood, who finds Fernandes at the far post. Unbelievable. Another goal of the season contender. I would say definitely the team goal of the season. As a United fan, you love to see that.
No, definitely, because there are like a lot of great individual goals this year. Tony Martial has, his list alone is insane for this season. But that's just a great, like you said, vintage United counterattack goal, one that Fergie used to make look easy all the time, and United starting to feel it. And it was just so pretty to watch. Just a 1, 2, 3 goal.
Player of the month, Martial, 3 goals. Bruno also had 3 goals for the month, but Martial would pip him for the Player of the Month title. I think that hattie, we've been waiting for a hat trick at Manchester United. It's unbelievable we had to wait this long. Used to have them all the time. FA Cup, we advanced past Norwich and Cantwell. Igalo and Maguire scored in the 110th minute in extra time, sir. When it takes you extra time to beat Norwich, how far are you really going to go in the Cup? Again, a lot of fixtures, tight turnaround. Players couldn't get a lot of rest. Jumping in July, sir. We're talking football in July. Not bad. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. 14 points taken from 18 available.
Not bad.
After strong wins against Bournemouth and Aston Villa, 5-2 and 3-0. We drew Southampton 2-2. United at the death. Set piece from a corner. Concede. Heartbreak for United. Really could have put some daylight in the race for top 4. Crystal Palace away. We beat them 2-0. Roy Hodgson, have a seat. West Ham United, another tough one. We draw. Going into the final day, it was written in the stars. Leicester versus Manchester United. Win and you're in. Nervy stuff.
Yeah, it was always going to come down to the last game when we knew it was like, really, we're fighting for Leicester and Chelsea for a spot up in 3rd or 4th. End of the season, last game of the season. This is what it's what it's all about. It's what it's about being a Manchester United fan. Something to play for.
Look, it was nervy. Manchester United does it on the final day, 2-0. Fernandes penalty in the 71st. It was always going to be a penalty given how many pens we've gotten this season. And Lingard finishing off 2-0, sir. We finish in third place above the Chelsea scum. Absolutely hate the Chelsea Blues.
Yeah, I mean, then they pipped us in the FA Cup a little later. We were very salty about that. I was, at least. I think this was a very winnable game against a very average Chelsea side. But
3-1, they beat us in the FA Cup semis July 19th. That was in the middle of those fixtures in the league. I'm going to say it was Ole kind of tweaked the lineup a little bit, and he should have went full strength, kind of went 75%, and then the players just looked a little haggard.
Yeah, I think he actually should have gone for like a straight up B team, and he did like a mix of both, and they just never gelled, and we never even got off the start in that game, losing convincingly to a very average team that ended up losing to a very average Arsenal team. So there you go.
Exactly. Yeah, which is another thing that's great to see. Look, third place, huge for United, given where we started. We're talking 12th place back, I think, in October, November. We come back to third, pip Chelsea on the final day. And we get that Champions League football, that wonderful music, and that 85 million pounds that goes along with making Champions League. So not only for the financial viability of Manchester United, it's great. Not only for recruitment, top talent, it's great. And just for fans, just being in the Champions League, it's where we belong. And the Europa League, I'm going to reflect. That hurts so much to play in Europa. It's like...
Get used to it. You might be going back.
Sucks
you might be going back.
Much.
It does.
It sucks so
much. It's because of Thursdays. Everyone else is watching football Tuesday, Wednesday.
Winning it. It's like if you're in it, you should win it. There's no excuses. The fact that we lost is just like, come on. That's such, dude, whatever. All right, speaking of losing the Europa League, August, have a go, Fred.
He likes that?
After Ekin passed Copenhagen, United bounced out of Europa League to the eventual winner, Sevilla. Player of the month in August was Bruno. He had 2 goals, 2 penalties. Tough times from open play. When you look at the Europa League, we didn't score, only from the penalty spot. You look at, we did generate the opportunities, could not finish. Bounced by Sevilla. I think there's no excuses. As Manchester United, you need to beat Sevilla. You need to beat Inter in the final. You need to be lifting this trophy. Shows that there's a little bit of a chink in the armor. I don't know what it is, but there's no excuses for a club like Manchester United. We were the best team. If you look at all those teams, you look at who pays the players the most. Manchester United wages, number 1. You look at how much they've paid for the team as far as like transfers. Manchester United, number 1. You look at everything that we have behind it, revenue, everything, number 1. Manchester United.
No doubt. And here's the thing. It's not even that. It's the fact that they were winnable games. Sevilla especially. Like, we were the better team. I think tactically we made mistakes. I think Ole didn't get it right. We talked a lot about that before, but at the end of the day, he also decided to play probably not our best starting 11. Fred was like champion and Fred and Matic, which made no sense. But hey, I guess he didn't really care that much about Europa League. But like you said, I think a team this good should be able to pick up not only the FA Cup, but also one of the two at least. You got to be winning at least the FA Cup, the Europa League, because they were there to be had.
Yeah. Look, and now I think this is it. Season's in the bag. We're kind of talking about it as a whole, right? And so kind of, if you look at where we finished last season and where we look at our transfer window and you say, okay, what would be the best case, base case, worst case? Making top 4 was probably like the base case. Top 4, no silverware. Everyone would take that starting this year. If you look at who we got in and you look at Ole, he has a lot to learn while he's the manager of Manchester United. I would say that's like a good case. Optimistic would be a piece of silverware, and that we didn't get, with the cherry on top, sir. But as a fan, you have to know where your bread is buttered, and that is Champions League football for many reasons. And Manchester United did it, so I'm not going to complain about this season. But I am going to say that when you are in these semifinals, there's really no excuses for a club like ours, because if you look at being in those semifinals, City won EFL Cup in City. I'm not going to lament on that. Chelsea and Sevilla, those 2 games, you got to win one of those 2.
No, totally. You do. They're good to have. But at the end of the day, like you said, you don't want to be Arsenal in this situation. They finished, 8th, 6th? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. Didn't win it, but they won a trophy. So what? I'd rather not win a trophy, finish in the Champions League. You pip a lot of your rivals, not the ones that matter really, but at the end of the day, you're in Champions League firmly. You're above a bunch of people that, were ahead of you for a long parts of the season. No silverware, but we still got plenty of silverware. We kick on next year for the important silverware.
No, absolutely. And you look at Liverpool, we finished 33 points behind them. They have 99 points. City, 81. Sir, we had 66. Chelsea, 66. Leicester, 62. Tottenham, 59. Wolves, 59. Arsenal, like you said, 8th, 56, 54. I mean, if you look at, there's tiers to this game in the league, and clearly there's the Liverpools and Cities, they're in that tier. We're kind of in the Chelsea, Leicester, Tottenham, Wolves, Arsenal kind of bucket. If you look at, 10 points separating third through 8th and 12th to 10th. Burnley in 10th, interesting enough. What, like you said, investment's going to have to take, we're going to need investment to get to that stratosphere. Now, there's different strategies here. You see the Chelsea strategy, which I think is interesting. They're just buy. We did that with LVG. As a fan, that seems to be the sexiest thing to do. Just buy all these hot names. You throw them all together. But the last time I saw a team do that, it was Tottenham when they sold Bale. They just bought like 7 different players. Us with LVG just bought all these new players. You're seeing Chelsea do it. And every time I've seen that, it hasn't really come off. You saw City do it initially too when they were first acquired. They just bought all the top names. It's hard to make a team gel when you're just buying so many players. I don't think that's the way to do it either.
I think you got to buy some players, and we're not buying any players. So that's my complaint.
You're right, but I just don't. You look, everyone's like complaining Chelsea's doing all this business is great, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to come off too hot because you buy too many new players. No one knows each other. There's no chemistry. There's tight turnaround, new season.
Well, that's the thing. If they come off, and all of a sudden they can have a very good year. If they don't, then they're like, holy shit, we spent all this money. It's just that the players that Ole's been buying have been coming off. It shows that we're focusing on the right players. Now it's just getting it done. Now you got to get the buys and sells done. It's not on Ole. Ole's picked his lists, and Woodward and Matt Jughead Judge are just like futzing around in the market, just burning time.
Well, there's a reason they're burning time.
They got no money.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. Look at the final stats in the EPL. Tony Martial, Marcus Rashford, 17 goals each. They're tied in the league. Those goal totals you love to see. Mason Greenwood with 10 assists. Bruno Fernandes in the league, 7. Rashford with 7, tied. So you look at Marcus Rashford, 17 goals, 7 assists in the league. Unbelievable. Our number 1 pass completion, Harry Maguire. Number 2, Victor Lindelof. Number 3, Fred. Our center backs getting a lot of time on the ball. That is consistent with what we saw. A lot of side to side, a lot of passing it back. I think you would rather have some attacking players with those stats. Marcus Rashford took the most shots. Anthony Martial in second, and Bruno Fernandes in third. That's amazing if you consider Bruno came in January. Tackles, no surprise. Wan-Bissaka, then Fred and Matic behind him. Aerial battles. Harry Maguire, 176. Lindelof, 96. Lindelof's got to step up. Clearances, Harry Maguire, 157. Interceptions, Harry Maguire, 72. Behind him, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Looking at the total stats together in all competitions, Tony Martial pips Marcus Rashford by 1 goal, 23 to be our top scorer. Rashford, number 2 with 22 goals in all competitions. And right behind him, Mason Greenwood. Unbelievable 17 goals, sir.
The kid. What a
26 starts, 17 goals.
And Bruno, 12 goals. He was here. He's been here since, the end of January? 12. That's ridiculous.
So Anthony Martial, 0.58 goals per 90 minutes. Mason Greenwood, 0.58 goals per 90 minutes. Marcus Rashford, 0.57 per 90. Unbelievable. If you look at expected goals, though, Anthony Martial, 0.42, Marcus Rashford, 0.61, and then Greenwood, 0.28. So Greenwood's ability to finish is top-notch because per his expected goals, he's getting such a high return. Behind them is Bruno Fernandes, 12 goals, all competitions for United, 8 assists. Here's the scariest part about all these stats. Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial tied on assists, 9 and 9. 23 goals. Martial, 9 assists. 22 goals. Rashford, 9 assists. That is uncanny.
I mean, and then both these players missed multiple months of the season. Both these players only had Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in their side for a half of the season. So, like I said, the most dangerous front three in Europe, and they're young, and I think they're only going to get better. Martial's getting better every year. Rashford's still got more upside, and Greenwood, 18, just getting going.
Harry Maguire leads the team in minutes across all competitions. 4,960 minutes. Maybe that's why I needed a few beers out in Greece. Behind him, top minutes, it was Victor Lindelof, 4,107. Then Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 4,073. Then De Gea, 3,870. And then Fred, 3,576. Interesting stuff. The player who has played the least, sir, it was Diego Dalot, 578 minutes, 7 starts. For some reason, seems like he's on the outs at Old Trafford. I really think that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, he was a player with a lot of hype around him, and, we've always rated players from Portugal coming to Manchester United, so I was excited. I still think the idea of a player like him who offers cover at the right back position as an attacking threat, that would make sense, but Ole clearly doesn't rate him, and...
It's like a Zaha. I think this is Zaha. It's
No,
like
totally.
he's too young
To just
He
punt.
needs another two. Certain players are ready at 19. Certain players are ready at 24, 25. And I think Dalot is one of those players who's going to be ready 24, 25. Whatever reason, maturity.
You loan him.
Physical maturity. I don't know what it is. But he could have a shit attitude behind the scenes. We don't know. But it's, for me, you loan a player like that because I think that he's going to be good. I think eventually he'll be good. It's like letting Herrera go. There's no upside. Herrera's a great footballer. You see how scrappy he is. He loves United. You can't let a player like that go. Dalot is a player who what I've seen of him on the wing going forward, his versatility, left back, right wing. You can't let a talent like that go super young. And apparently we're going to ship him to PSG of all places. And when PSG wants a player like that, tough.
I mean, he's not that good defensively, unfortunately. He just fundamentally is not that strong of a tackler, but I agree with you. He's still young. He's a unit. He's actually a big lad. And it's like the only reason we're selling him is because we're broke.
We need okay, fine.
Right? I wouldn't get rid of him.
I'd
I'd loan him, but we need cash. That's why they're selling him.
Well, here's the deal. It's like he's not good defensively, so you bring him as a substitute at right wing.
Totally.
And then you hopefully he trains to get better defense over 2 years, then he can play right back. I mean, these are the types of things that we got to be thinking about. United, just the whole buy and sell players in 3 years and they're young and they have that's just reminds me of Zaha. It's just, you got to keep young players on the books.
Woody, what do you expect? This Woody, Ed Woodward, bro.
All right. That is the recap in the bag. We're going to jump into our season awards here, sir. We have quite a few of these, so bear with us. We're going to start with the MVP of the year, Sir Bobby Charlton Award. Sir, who is your MVP of the 2019-20 season?
I mean, for me, it's got to be Tony Martial, came from France. English press said no chance. Probably Bruno if he was here the whole season, but Martial was such a consistent standout performer all year, and he's been a great player. And I think Ole has just pushed him to another level, and I think he's going to keep getting better and better. So for me, it's got to be the Frenchman, well-deserved Player of the Year award.
Sir, they say there's different definitions of most valuable player. I would say most valuable player would be you take him out of the team, and the team is not nearly as good and can't get there. That's got to be Bruno Fernandes. Without Bruno Fernandes, the team is not as good as what we're discussing. We're not making top 4, not doing anything. And, we signed him. It's to the moon, sir. You look at his impact coming in, the assist, how dynamic his play is, his penalty taking. It's Bruno Fernandes without a doubt. Martial, he stepped up, but he had a year that he should always have. And I think Bruno Fernandes, he's the most valuable player because you take him out of the team, we're not nearly as good.
There you go. Let's see what the fans think.
You agree? You agree with me?
No, I don't. I disagree with you. That's why I picked Tony Martial.
All right. Checking in with the fans. The fans agree with you, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty tight, though. It's very tight.
48.4% say Tony Martial came from France as the MVP and number 2 in the voting. Bruno Fernandes, 45.2%. I think he could have a co-MVP, sir. What do you think? Marcus Rashford, 5.8%. Marcus Rashford getting overlooked hard. Paul Pogba, 0.6% of the vote. Like 2 people voted for Paul Pogba.
Didn't play enough.
Yeah, I would agree he didn't play enough. I just put him on the survey as he's like one of the big name players for United. Okay, I think that's in the books. Tony Martial from the fans' perspective. Next award, most improved award, the Sir John O'Shea. Who do you give it to and why?
I mean, I think it's going to be a popular pick, but it's got to be the kid. It's got to be Mason Greenwood. Even just like if you look, usually we're talking about from last season to this season. I'm talking about from this beginning of the season to the end of the season. Pre-COVID break, post-COVID break, he just looked like I don't know, like he got like a magic card and just like turned up to 10 because he is becoming a player. He's getting better every game. He's a must starter even at 18, and I'm excited to see where he goes because he's got such a future ahead of him.
Yeah, there's no debating this one. I think we actually talked about Brandon Williams was my most improved pre-COVID. We did kind of a season recap starting COVID, the restart. And then it's got to be Mason Greenwood. You look at when he came on and he scored his first league goal against Sheffield United, that 3-3 draw. From then, scored at Everton, scored at Newcastle at home, like the banger. He came onto the scene, just kept scoring goals. I mean, we just talked about how many he had this season for how young he is. It's just absolutely unbelievable that Mason Greenwood could get 17 goals, 3 assists, and just the confidence behind him. And when he gets the ball, he takes men on, finishes on his left, finishes on the right. I mean, for me, you talk about Sancho, but you got Mason Greenwood, and he looks to be, one of the top players in world football, in my opinion. If you were to look at who's the top 3 players, you look at Mbappe, okay, that class is now, they're mature. They're probably like juniors, they're expected to perform. They're in the Champions League final.
He's
Mason
freshman.
Greenwood, he's the freshman.
Yeah, he's 18.
Freshman on campus.
Younger than Sancho.
Yeah, and then like when he's a junior, what is that going to look like? 35, all comps, just
Easy.
like.
I mean, look how he finishes on the left, on the right.
We got him for 10 years, sir. And that's what
as long as Woodward doesn't blow it, bro.
We got a young team. And that's why I think you got to look at this team. You got to look at Ole, and you got to be thinking long term. I know we won signings. I know it's fun. I know it's the sexy thing to do. Tweet it out, this and that. Just watch Chelsea next season. Watch Chelsea. They're gonna,
super frank.
all their fans. I'm getting texts. You're hearing my phone blow up during the pod. I'm getting shit talk from the Chelsea fans like as we're on the podcast because they're signing all these players. But like, look, it's hard to pull that all together. What the fans think, sir? No surprise. Mason Greenwood, 74% of the vote. Second place, Luke Shaw, 15.9. Shout out to our boy, the Impossible Meat Pie. Started out, Meat Pie Luke Shaw, out of shape. Came in form. He got injured, unfortunately, and then we haven't been the same without Luke Shaw. Again, he has injury issues, so maybe we need to strengthen left back. Who knows?
We got to strengthen throughout, but that's a good shout as well for someone probably, if he had kept his form up, didn't get injured at the end of restart, he might have been a sniff for most improved because he did have a hell of a season in terms of turning it around, getting fit, and coming back for the restart just like ready to go. So shout out to Luke as well. Hopefully he comes back next season ready to go because he was bringing out the best of Marcus Rashford. He was just kind of unlocking the left side of the pitch. It made it all more dangerous.
He knows when to make that run, and that's the difference. Him and Rashford have good chemistry on the left wing. At JM McLiver, quote, voted for Shaw only because of the difference he has made for us other than that he barely beat out McSauce. McTominay in third place, Williams in fourth. A lot of Freds in the comments here. Matic as well. I thought Matic was kind of on the outs with Ole, kind of came back in, became a bit part player. At T. Zolski, quote, this one is tough based on performance last year. You have to go with Luke Shaw. I get Mason Greenwood, but this was his first full year with the team. So, we have some split votes there. But again, you love to see things like Luke Shaw improving. You love to see things like Mason Greenwood. Now you hope next season you're going to see more of that, right? Who knows how many people are going to sign? Maybe Dan James is going to be most improved. These are the types of players and trends that you don't necessarily anticipate, but you love to see it at Manchester United because that's quality over quantity, sir. When you talk about just big money signings. Biggest disappointment award. We have to have one negative award here. Some people chirped us on Twitter that we shouldn't have a negative award, but we have 4 positive ones. We have 1 negative one, 4-1. I mean, this is
not bad. It's a pretty good ratio.
And the way I think about the biggest disappointment award, or it's named here on the podcast, the Sir Bebe Award, is that you have high expectations for a player and they don't necessarily meet those expectations. So it'd be, we signed De Gea on a big 4-year big money deal, and does he live up to the expectations? It's not necessarily like you suck, get off our team. It's just more you don't live up to what we thought that you could do. Sir, I'm trying to caveat.
We're not trying to sell anybody. You're caveating.
I'm just caveating. So, sir, who wins your Sir Bebe Award if you had to just, give the poop emoji to a player?
I mean, I'm going to slate him, but I'm going to caveat it because really it's about like expectations, and it's got to be Fred because he was playing so well throughout the year. Then we got these other talented players back into the fold, right? Rashford's back from injury. We signed Bruno Fernandes. Pogba's in. I was really hoping that he was going to kind of fit in and be an option in that Matic role when we were pushing on, and we really weren't. So, and that's my disappointment. Expectations were high because he played pretty well up until the restart, and then really just looked like old Fred since.
Old Fred, look, I put Fred on the poll, and there are people like so upset in the comments. You saying Fred, I think that's a little off base, in my opinion. You can't give Fred the Sir Bebe Award for the reason that he did step into the team and he played well for a solid portion of the season when we desperately needed him to. Week in, week out, he did do a job. And so, you could say I don't like the way he finished it, but the biggest disappointment of the season, that's like Jesse Lingard stands out to me as like we really thought Jesse, based on everything he did at the original Ole run, that he would kind of come in, be a pacey player that we could use as a sub at the very least, and he's just faded away. Understand he has personal problems. I'm not going to slate him for that. I wish him the best, but his performance was definitely off the mark of expectation.
Is that your pick?
No. My pick is David De Gea because signs the big money deal. And he used to be the player that you could rely on. He was our rock steady at the back, sir. All those teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans. De Gea, he was the reason why we made top four. Now he's kind of the reason why we're having such a tough time making top four. And you hate to see such a good player struggling. It's probably been over 18 months of making gaffes, and I think I love De Gea. He's the man. I hate to see it, but I think they're going to bring in. They're going to bring in Dino, and they're going to make him sweat it. And I don't know if De Gea's up for the task. What's crazy is that it was always there with De Gea. When he'd go play for Spain, he was just looked off. He didn't look like comfortable. I think maybe they were playing out the back a little more, and maybe that dynamic kind of messes with his game too much. But just as a pure shot stopper, coming from Atletico, when Sir Alex signed him, I thought, he's one of the best in the world. But for some reason, his dip in form, that's why I'm giving him the Sir Bebe Award, because he's just off expectations, especially signing that big money deal.
Yeah, I get it. Totally. And part of the reason that it was in Fred and De Gea for me, I didn't even consider Pereira or Lingard, because I have no expectation around those two players anymore. Right? My expectations are so low that they're not even in contention because they're nothing more than a squad player. Whereas Fred now, 55 million pounds, he costs more than Bruno Fernandes. I think he should be able to step up.
So the fans are going to be pissed about this one.
You know what? I can't make everybody happy.
Okay, De Gea was the number one fan voted, 41.7%. Lingard, second place, 31.8%. Pereira, 23.2%. And then Fred, 3.3%. So jumping in the comments, the Sir Bebe Award had the most votes, 664 by any poll. So
number one comment is the first one. I love that.
Yeah, Glazers and Woodward should win the Sir Bebe Award. People say De Gea. Now, okay, we're going to get some So people say, at dadrunner_82, Fred's been good, actually. At Izzy7Vin, why is Fred there? He was good this season. Why put Fred on there when he was arguably the player of the season before lockdown? At Putterell X. So, sir, people are saying, how is Fred in there? Another one. At Obsessed with United. At Man United DYL. You guys hate on Fred way too much. So, sir, you said Fred. So these people are asking you, why is he even on the poll? He played well.
He played well. He played well in the run up to the season. If we just evaluated the season based on the run up to the season, we would have missed Champions League, and we'd be moaning and playing in Europe and Kazakhstan next year. You got to look at the whole season, and his expectations is he finally lived up to a player that we spent 50 million pounds on. And then when the team was clicking in the best 11, he couldn't even float in that. So
at MUFC Daz too, how the hell is Fred on here? He's one of our best players pre-lockdown. Without him or Rashford, we'd be 8th. You disagree?
He didn't do anything post-lockdown. He's my pick.
I note it all. You really got to relax on the Fred stuff. I give the guy I give the guy a 7, maybe 8 out of 10 for the season. So what would your grade out of 10 for Fred be for the entire season?
Like a 6, like a D.
6, okay.
He started well, and then when the rubber hit the road, and we really needed to win the games at the end, he was nowhere. He wasn't called up. He wasn't playing any games.
Hey, I'm just making you state your case because the fans are going to
not happy.
They're going to want to hear it.
Not happy. What do I know? I don't know.
They were mad that I just put him on the poll.
What's that? Okay. Well, clearly we got a lot of votes in that one, so everyone's got an opinion about who shot the bed the most.
All right, we got the Goal of the Season award, the Sir David Beckham Award. Sir, we all know why David Beckham, his title is on this one. What's your number one goal of the season here?
It might not have been the prettiest or hardest goal, but mine, for me, has got to be the McTominay banger. Last game we played, not only at Old Trafford in front of fans, but just, I think, in front of fans at all. So for me, special feels, and we also just outplayed them the whole game without even having...
The straight to McTominay is going to have a shot. Oh, it's 2-0. Scott McTominay seals the points in the It hasn't been Edison's finest day. It has been his as manager of Manchester United. Ollie's all smiles. He's at the wheel. United are 3 points off the top 4. They lead City by 2 goals to 0.
He's on the wheel. He's on the wheel.
Absolute feels on that goal at Old Trafford, sir. You love to see it. Scott McTominay in the rain, in the derby, a goal that matters so much in the league, doing the double over City. Ederson with the error. 97th minute. You love to see it. Packed Old Trafford, ripping everybody's. I mean, that was probably one of the high moments of the entire season.
No doubt. It's just because you can't compare it with and without fans. It's totally different. And it's just big moment. There's a lot of great goals this year. We actually scored a ton of beautiful goals, but this one was my favorite.
All right. My goal of the season, none other than Mason Greenwood, Newcastle at home.
Martial was closing him down. Oh, it's going to be won back by Greenwood. Greenwood has a go. Oh! Born to score goals. And that was a stunner. Mason Greenwood, he had options left and right. He didn't bother with any of them.
Bar down, sir. Bar fucking down. Mason Greenwood, his third EPL goal at home at Old Trafford. Newcastle scored early. Martial equalized. Mason Greenwood, Newcastle turn over the ball. Mason Greenwood gets the ball outside the box. He's got Martial running to his left, looks him off, puts his head down, boot through it, hits the bar and down. What an emphatic finish. This is when I think Mason Greenwood, for me, goal of the season, because he's starting to believe and he knows that he might be the best striker on that field. And you're starting to see that mojo from the youngster here in this Newcastle match. We end up beating 4-1. That's why, for me, the storyline, Mason Greenwood coming to be Manchester United's number one goal scoring machine.
It's always exciting when there's like multiple storylines up that we can make it all about. It could be Bruno, Martial, and Rashford pushing each other on. Mason Greenwood just emerging as a top talent. It's exciting to have a lot of things just buzzing at the club. That's why we're so frustrated about the lack of transfers. We're so close, sir. We're getting close.
All right. So we put the poll to the fans. They say the Rashford Chelsea free kick. That was an EFL Cup, I believe it was. 53.9%. Martial, there was also the Martial chip versus Foster. That was actually third with 18.4%. Second place was the McTominay hit, 19.9%. And the Greenwood Newcastle, my pick, was 7.8%. So the Rashford Chelsea free kick, that was kind of the all-star goal from the fans' perspective.
The Ronaldo hit, I mean, it was such a banger. Good for Marcus. He's been trying to hit one of those for a while. It's good to see one come off in a big game. I love Pip and Chelsea.
All right, the next poll is the top match or moment of the season, the Roy Keane Award. What do you got?
I mean, for me, it's the same as the goal. It's that 2-0 win at home at Old Trafford against City right before the pause in football. It was just a big match in terms of just like Pip and our neighbors, showing that we could do it and do it to finish the season.
That was the double, right? That was the
double, and it was just like having the good momentum going into the break. And I think that gave us a lot of juice when we came out of it hot.
So my moment was Bruno Fernandes shushing Pep on the touchline in that very game. I think for United fans, this was the high. This is kind of when we got our signing in. Everyone was believing in it. Bruno is becoming a leader in the dressing room. The swagger about Bruno shushing Pep Guardiola, doing the double. United are back. We're kicking on. We're coming for top 4, sending real signals to our rivals. This was it, I think. And even seeing the McTominay goal, I mean, just gives me chills, sir. Looking at the fans, we put it to the poll. Signing Bruno Fernandes, they voted number 1, just signing him, 44.7%. Doing the double versus City, 36%. The Chelsea 4-0 season opener at Old Trafford, 10.6%. And then the 2-0 Leicester victory to clinch top 4, 8.7%. So actually, to clinch top 4, 8.7% was the top moment of the season. But I think it's Bruno. That's fair. That's a fair one.
No, he deserves it. It changed the course of the season. What a season it was.
It was.
This was a great recap. Just like it was so many highs and lows. Finished, thankfully, where we all wanted. I mean, would have loved some silverware, but third place, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Exciting times ahead.
All right, final grades, end of the season. We grade here on the high school grading scale: A, plus minus, B, plus minus, C, plus minus, D, plus minus, and then F. Sir, what is your grade for the season? We talked about it last week, but now we've gone through the whole thing. You changing your grade or are you leaving it the same?
Well, Well, I gotta I go through the report once, make my edits, and then I gotta give it another fresh set of eyes after a week so I can calm down. So I'm gonna revise my initial grade for Manchester United in the 1920 season from a C to a C+, because at the end of the day, it's a good accomplishment from Ole. The team is clearly making progress. There is a lot of exciting things happening, but at United, we got to pick up silverware. So that's for me why he didn't get pushed into the Bs. I think if he picked up an FA Cup or the Europa League, he would have gotten a B for me, but it's got to be C+ because you got to win something.
I think I said B+ last time. I'm keeping B+ because I think that Ole, looking at what he did with what he was given by the board, the lows from where we hit 12th to come back and pip third, beat Chelsea. Like if we had just made top 4, I would say that's probably B-, but to pip Chelsea in the end, to do it in the way we did, especially managing through COVID, I got to give it a B+. And also, if you look at the youngsters, how he got the best out of Greenwood, how he got Martial kicking, how he got Rashford kicking, I got to give a little bit of a B+, sir.
So very generous grader. You're a generous grader.
I'm grading with what he's got. Now, if you're grading on what Manchester United should be doing every season, then yeah, you could argue, I would definitely be more in your camp where it's like we expect silverware, we expect to be competing for the league, and if you don't do that, that's in the C camp. I totally understand that perspective, but I'm trying to look at what Ole's got, how the players did, given all the ups and downs, and I have to give like a little bit of a positive. That's why I had that little plus. We're going into next season.
I give him a C+.
Yeah, you're a harsh grader.
I'm a harsh grader.
Harsh grader. Just quick booking the bookies. Actually, before we get into that, we got a next season, sir. There's always next season's fixtures were released this week. We're going to talk about that in a second. Before that, we're going to do booking the bookies. The odds to win the English Premier League next year. Who can win it? Sir, who do you think the favorites are?
I would say either the Scousers or the City Blues would be the favorites.
So the favorite outright to win the 2020-2021 English Premier League is Manchester City, plus 100, Liverpool, plus 175. And then going to third, Manchester United, plus 900. So we are the bookmakers' third choice here. Chelsea, plus 1,200. Arsenal, plus 4,000. Tottenham, plus 5,000. Leicester, Wolves, Everton. So if you look, that's a lot of respect for Manchester United. And, if you look at where United are right now, you look at the transfer window, that's the bookies are taking into account Chelsea doing all these deals. And we are still favorites above Chelsea to win the league. I mean, this kind of looks like the table finished last year, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they're probably still counting on United making some deals this summer. That's going to be the hinge, right? That's going to be like whether or not we want to move on these odds.
9 times your money from United to win the league.
Right now, with no signings, we got no chance, bro.
I got a chance. We got a chance.
Say there's a chance. There's always a chance.
Sir, there is. I believe in this team, sir. I believe in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. At the moment, there's always next year, like we talked about, fixtures, going through them real quick. We're going to be opening against Crystal Palace Saturday, September 19th. Throw out the fixtures that were rumored that we announced last week. Burnley was supposed to be our opener, but we did get delayed a week. So we'll have the opening games will be on the 12th of September, and then United will not be playing. That will be rescheduled to be determined. So Crystal Palace at Old Trafford will be the first game. Then we play Brighton away the 26th. So then we play Tottenham at home. And that's October 3rd. What's important about October, the UK, the FA, talking about fans coming back. Similar to the case we discussed in the model, United did release a presser about fans coming back. They're working with the government to see what they could do. I imagine you'll see something like right now in Australian rules football, low attendance, fans sitting with lots of space in between seats, masks, etc. But I think we'll see that coming back soon, which I think is good. That's a good morale booster. See fans in the seats.
It's progress, baby steps. It's not going to get there overnight to full stadium. So it's got to be a progression back towards normalcy.
Yeah, what we love to see is that packed Stratford End singing in full voice. We're not going to go through every fixture, just the top ones. October looks to be a big month. Tottenham home, Chelsea home, Arsenal home.
Big games.
We got Newcastle away. The Tynes, sir, that was tough. December going to be a big month for us. We play City, and then this is the big one, Saturday, December 19th. We all hate Leeds scum. We're playing them at home. Mark your calendars. Leeds versus Manchester United. Been a while, sir. The bad blood. Can't wait to beat the Leeds scum. It's going to be an amazing match. Going to be some tough tackles in that one.
There's a tough run of fixtures over the holidays, like Leeds, then Leicester, then Wolves, then Villa, all in the space of 2 weeks. Woo!
We play
Gear up.
Liverpool away January 16th. Then February is a little easier, but we finish with Chelsea away. Then City coming back early March. Tottenham we play in April. Leeds we play them away April 24th. And then we play Liverpool at home May 1st. Wow. Interesting fixture there. And then hopefully fans will be back completely then, so we'll have the advantage. It'll be interesting to see how the home field advantage morphs over time if fans are allowed to come back. And then hysterically, you look at this run-in. You know, we saw how important these late fixtures were. We play Liverpool at home May 1st, Villa away May 8th, Leicester at home the 11th, Fulham at home the 15th, and then Wolves away. And the first game I looked to was the last game of the season. And when I saw that last month and this run-in, I was like, man, could you imagine if something's on the line playing Wolves away?
We always got to do it the hard way, sir. It's Manchester United. We always got to do it the hard way.
It's written in the stars. It's written in the stars. How are you feeling about those fixtures? Easy start in September, tough October. I don't like the tough October because I think we're going to be behind the 8 ball. We're going to be. It's going to. I'm not going to say it, sir. I'm not going to. I don't want the worst. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be nice to have an easy street start, so then we could kind of get into the race.
Well,
be
the first
at the
2
top
weeks
of the
are
table.
good. That could be worse. I mean, the fact that we're starting with Palace and then Brighton, it could be we're starting with Tottenham and then Arsenal. So it could be worse, but you're right. It's all going to be about how we start the season because there's so many games. It's important to get the momentum early and just get that machine up and running because the teams that start hot are going to most likely be the teams that do well. But you know what? What did Fergie used to say? You'll know by Christmas whether or not you're
you don't
legit.
look at the table before Christmas.
By Christmas, I mean, we're gonna know whether this team's legit by Christmas.
Boxing Day, Leicester away. Ooh. Then 2 days later, Wolves at home. Tight turnaround. Then Aston Villa. So it's like, whew, I can't wait. You know what's great about this whole season is that, sir, we're just bleeding right into next year.
There's no break.
There's no break. No break for the podcast either. All right, jumping into the transfer Muppetry. Look, this is the Marathon Pod. It always is. It's a season recap, sir. We're in it to win it. All right, we haven't even addressed the transfer nonsense. We're talking Jack Grealish. You said it. You said you don't want him, but United are looking at dealing Sergio Romero to Aston Villa as they try to secure Jack Grealish, which will set the stage for Dean Henderson to battle it out with David De Gea. Look, Dean Henderson, the news we saw, he's basically said goodbye to Sheffield United on social media. He's not going back there, penning a new deal with United. It's not completely official, but he went to Carrington. Looks like he's coming back to compete for the number 1 spot. What do you make of this decision? And then subsequently, what do you make of Dylan Romero?
You know, I think this shows the ambition of Dino more than anything. He doesn't want to go on loan again. He wants to fight for his spot at United. And I think at this point, given the fact that De Gea is not the De Gea we used to know, he might need a little competition in terms of a guy who's actually going to fight for a spot, someone who can be his ultimate replacement, right? Romero's not going to be that guy. He's a great backup, he'd be a great keeper for most teams in the Premier League. He's a very solid keeper. But this just shows the ambition of Henderson. He's going to be fighting for that spot. I think it's a good thing. I think it'd be good for Dave.
I like the United getting cheeky with Romero to Aston Villa because you got to rate Romero. Like, keepers are worth a lot. Romero's a great keeper.
Totally.
And, you know, he's worth like 30, 40 million at a minimum. And then trying to get Jack Grealish for 30, something like that. I like that deal. Then Dino comes in as the backup. The one thing about keepers, I will warn you, it's like having a quarterback controversy here for NFL. You don't want to be swapping keepers. It messes with both their minds. So what do you make Dino a cup keeper? Is that what you're saying? Or do you play him with De Gea? Like, I don't know if a controversy is good. I think you either dish De Gea and then you make Dino number 1. I usually make Dino number 1 versus the whole play both at the same time. I don't know if that's good either.
No, I don't know. I mean, this is not something decision we're making, so it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. We have no idea what's happening. So it looks like he's going to have the two fighting for position. I guess that would mean that he's not going to just be a cup keeper.
I think this is too soon. I think you loan him back. I think you do another year of Romero cup keeper and De Gea number 1. I think it's too soon, this one. But I think the whole idea of Romero maybe doing the deal with Grealish is kind of speeding this up. Next bit of news, Talk Sport. Conte be true. Manchester United emerges shock frontrunners to sign Chelsea midfielder N'Golo Kanté. Not sure this is in the Muppetry camp, but essentially Kanté might be up for grabs given all the moves Chelsea are doing. Again, it's a chop shop summer for the Chelsea Blues. Need to launder that Russian money. United are now the favorites from the bookmakers in England to sign the France star. Something happened with Conte there. He's a great player. I mean, he would fit into United, and if Chelsea are looking to deal him cheap, but would they sell him to us? They're rivals, really? I mean, he's a top midfielder.
Would you
World Cup winner?
They need a keeper. Would you give them Romero to get Conte? I probably would.
I would as well.
He's
if
a
you
great
think
player.
Of
He's a
Conte
great-
and Pogba in the midfield.
Are you kidding me?
You kidding me, bro?
Yeah.
You kidding me? Like if
The
we,
fact that they want to get rid of one of the best CDMs in the league just means that, like, go for it, Frank. Go for it, Super Frank, bro.
Frank,
What do you
when you
got?
put in the peace pipe, baby, like that's a great.
Who they like Djokovic? Oh no, who's the guy? Jorginho? Oh, good luck, bro. Like, I'll take Conte all day. He's great. 29, and you can tell he takes good care of his body. He's probably got a lot of years in him.
But you see with these two bits of news where our window's heading,
yeah.
right? It's like I don't mind it because it's like it's a scrappier. It's going to be the cash problem. It's going to be a scrappier window, and we're going to see kind of what comes up. But if you get Conte out of it, I'm not going to complain. If you get Grealish out of it, not going to complain. Next bit of news, we're talking about Harry Maguire fighting around the world like Russell Crowe, baby. Look, Maguire was out in Mykonos. All the United players out in Mykonos getting lit city. I mean, Maguire's played. You saw all those minutes he played. His giant skull took a lot of bashes, sir. Durability. You need to get like a little fired up. I totally. He's 27. One-way ticket to lit city here. Something happened. Some Greek locals in Mykonos talking smack, saying United are shit. Allegedly, his sister was stabbed in the arm with a sharp object during the brawl. Then the cops came in, and then his kind of crew brawl. Then all of a sudden, he's like in court and attempting to bribe the officers, etc.
Why not? It's Greece.
Just a classic one-way ticket to lit city.
This is what you do during the summer. I mean, it's just happening all the time, right? Like Rio.
Yeah, I know. It's like-
Wayne, they used to do shit like this all the time. No big deal. Dude, if we were like 27 making millions, I'd be getting loaded in Mykonos too. And just like headbutting people with his giant head. Yeah, he was just like, fight night.
Where are all the people who are saying like he needs to be stripped of his captaincy? It's like Twitter, it's like, come on. It's like this is old English defender, bro.
I mean,
like let him get it. He should in his spare time he should be getting like lit and just like fighting people in Greece, bro. Who cares? Now the thing about Greece is like they got some cheeky. You guys, everyone knows Greece. They got some cheeky. People are gonna be yipping at you, And it's like, I just don't. Harry Maguire,
Get a yacht. Rent a yacht.
Hey, he's hanging out with. I saw on Instagram. It was like Rashford with all these chains, B-Dubs, like Lingard, him, all in Greece. Get a yacht. You got the DM on Instagram. DM some of those like attractive women in England. You get them on the yacht with you. Then you're quarantined technically. And you party on the yacht, and you can get fight night on the yacht with the crew, and it's not going to come out in the press.
Problem is, you can take the lad out of Sheffield. You can't take the Sheffield out of the lad, bro. He wants to get like fucked up with other English lads at the end of the day.
Dude,
he just wants to hang out like he's just another lad.
Hey, now that I'm not 27 anymore and I have a kid, I'm not really going to be fight night in Greece anymore.
We would be though. We would be. I'll tell you that.
At 27, absolutely. At 27, absolutely. Next bit of news, just going to touch on Jadon Sancho. He did come out, spoke about the Manchester United interest, the £108 million fee. Jadon Sancho basically said he stopped paying attention to the noise around him. He needs to keep a smile on his face during all this speculation, everything. I think he wants to move. Dortmund, United, again, reminds me of the Bruno Fernandes deal. Allegedly, Dortmund want the £108 million up front. United want it structured for obvious reasons. No one's budging. Sir, everyone says it's dead. Our boy Phil on Twitter, he says it's dead. I think that Dortmund, I haven't been in the Dortmund financials. I think they need the money. I don't think Jadon Sancho wants to be there. I don't even think the coach rates Jadon Sancho. I actually think we're going to see some back and forth, and it might be like similar to Bruno, where that soundbite we played was on the 29th, where it's just like Dortmund's like, all right, we want the cash, do the deal, and they work something out on like the last day. I could see something like that because we're not moving for anyone else. Willian went on a free to Arsenal. Gabriel, the defender we talked about, he looks to be moving to Arsenal. We're not bidding on anyone. Something might be happening with Sancho. Again, it would be that like last day, last minute deal. Who knows what United's doing right now in the transfer market?
I mean, I'm not banking on it. It feels like it's not happening. I'm not confident. I just don't. I think it's a problem with the Glazers. Did you hear what they said in the pressers? That Joel Glazer doesn't rate them at that fee.
Well, this is just
they want a deal. They want a deal, dude. Dortmund are willing to get the deal done. Sancho wants to move. Ole wants them. It's just like it's cash, and it's the fact is that the Glazers are cheap. They don't want to put any cash into the company, into the club, and they won't. So we're going to be doing small.
Well, they're not going to pay. No, of course, I agree. They're not going to pay the upfront. They could do it. Like we said in our analysis, they can. Of course, they can't. But they could do a structured deal, and Dortmund might be more open to a structured deal if it looks like they're not going to move him on. Because I do think that they want to move on Jadon Sancho. It looks to me like Dortmund want to sell him for the big price, and the longer the window goes on, they might be willing to take a structured deal. And again, it would have to be like a last-minute thing out of nowhere. So it's a very low percentage I'm putting on it.
Sir, they are willing to do a structured deal. It's just that United is not willing to do $70 million up front.
Fabrizio Romano says that that's the latest sticking point. So unless you have sources better than him, then
he says that then now they want it all up front.
Yeah, he says Dortmund wants it all up front. United don't want to pay it up front. That's the big.
There you go.
Sir, I don't know.
I don't
know what Yahoo's you're following on Twitter.
It sounds dead to me, dude.
Okay, so speaking of Sancho, now United, we're like, we going in the bargain bin, sir. We talked about the Bournemouth player.
What's his name? I forget
his name.
He's not great.
Everyone started posting highlight videos of him. I'm like, please.
He's not great.
Then Douglas Costa from Juventus. Apparently, Juventus fire sale. Manager changed the whole deal. Ronaldo's not happy with the team. Pirlo's coming in. So they're going to sell a few players. Douglas Costa on the cheap. United apparently tabling a £27 million bid. Juventus holding out for $36 million. Old, rickety winger.
Injured
Douglas
all the
Costa.
time.
Why are we even talking about that?
Junk. Don't even sign him. He's like a more expensive Willian that isn't Premier League proven and is injured. I think he played like 20 games last year. Next. I think a Cantwell for $11 million and move on and buy a center back.
Who's the Bournemouth player? I'm okay. Here we go. David Brooks. There you go. David Brooks. We're looking at him. $40 million. So now we're in the bargain bin. We were also Gabriel's going to Arsenal. So you have Chelsea buying everyone. Chilwell is apparently next on the list. Another great player. You have Arsenal doing Willian. They're doing Gabriel. They're signing the defender that we were linked to. What do you make of all these other teams? So you have, like we talked about, City, Liverpool. They're in that class. We're way behind, and then our competitors in that kind of 10-point range, they're buying, and we're just sitting here snoozing. How does it make you feel as a fan?
What's different? What's changed? It's like the problem is our expectations have shifted based on performances on the pitch. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the performance of the people closing deals. And he's been shit. He's been shit since Fergie left, and he still is. And he was late on the Bruno deal. He's late on the Maguire deal. And Sancho, it's like the headwinds are against us, man. It's like they're losing out on this money. They're not willing to pony up. The risk is too high for them. We're not getting Jadon Sancho.
So I had a dream last night, sir. The dream was that the Glazers basically put on the table a giant equity offering that they're going to raise £500 million to just spend money to go win
dreaming.
Titles. I
keep
swear
dreaming.
to God, it's in my dreams.
Yeah, keep dreaming.
I was like, because we've been talking smack about the financials, and it was like the Glazers basically raised $500 million in equity markets so that they could go invest in the team and kick on, sir, and win titles. Like
maybe they'll raise $500 million to pay themselves a bigger dividend.
It's possible that you don't know what's going behind the scenes on the board, but from my perspective, it's a long con, sir. We're not going to be spending. It's going to be a scrappy window. The Romero to Villa to get Grealish on a cheap. These are the deals we're going to see. As a fan, I don't mind it because when you look at that front three, what we have at United, we're going to see us gel as a team. I think the seasons being close together are going to matter, and it's going to be a huge. That's how you want to finish it, sir. We finished it very, very easily. No,
we need to have a scrappy window. If you're not going to spend money, we need to cobble together some strategic, some quick and dirty packages, some stuff that just gets players in the door. You do swap deals, you do creative stuff. If you don't rate it low, you punt them to a club in Europe where you can maybe get someone out of it. I don't know. That's what we need to do. I don't have a lot of faith in our club doing it.
No, so the whole idea is that I do think we have a team. I do think we need depth. I think there are players around the team that can step up. And I'm not going to rely on those sexy signings like Chelsea. Like if you're a Chelsea fan, they're super pumped right now, but they've had a shit finish to the season. They didn't win any silverware, and they're more excited about their club than us. And we actually played better, I believe, at the end of the day. And we have younger talent. We have a young team coming on up. And look, next year might not be the year, but the year after, we add some players. I'd rather do it over time. We have a young squad who's improving every season, and you add parts to that. So it's not like a short-term thing. If you want a short-term thing, be a Chelsea fan. This is a long-term project. You got to deal with the Glazers bullshit. But at the end of the day, you look at that front three, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. Say those three times. Best front three in Europe. I take it over Liverpool. I take it over Chelsea. And we're starting with that.
We are. I'm not going to argue that. I don't want to compare myself to Chelsea fans, like some of the worst fans in soccer. I'm good on that. I'm just saying is like our expectations are high, they're medium, they're low, whatever they are, they should stay low because they're not getting things done early. They're not making those kind of like smart bargain bin buys. If you're going to miss out on Sancho, I hate to say it, the fans get pissed, but Willian makes sense, Premier League proven, and he's valuable. He's a good workhorse player. Sir, what do the fans think?
All right, jumping to fan questions. This is the longest pod we've ever done. Sir, season recap. You know, pod never sleeps. Get into it here. At J McLiver on Twitter. Quote, with the lack of transfers happening, should we expect Ole to continue to bring up more academy players? We need depth right now. That's the only way I see it happening, ... What do you think?
No, I think it's more than likely it's going to keep putting pressure on the academy to bring a player up, right? Like, Tenji is going to get minutes. Lard's going to get minutes if there's injuries to the AWB.
Tuanzebe, sir. I'm so pumped on Tuanzebe.
Well, he hasn't even been available because of injuries. So he's not even count. He's not an academy lad now. He's like a full-fledged play a season.
No, exactly.
Villa.
Yeah.
I'm talking more about like the youngins that are going to be asked on because if we're not signing anyone, Garner's going to be asked to do a job, etc. So we have a good academy, but it's just like we need first team starters ready to go. We can't be asking a 19-year-old to play 30 games.
Well, if we do and he comes good, it's not, that could be a benefit, right? There is upside to that. At Ty Kircher on Twitter, quote, which match are you looking forward to this season? Also, why do we even bother getting the least excited about transfers? I'm not. I'm saying nothing's happening. It's always disappoints. It's like a gut punch every day. Cheapskate, Glazers, clueless. Well, we're going to kill any momentum we have getting third, sir. So what match are you looking forward to most next season?
Scousers. I mean, I always look bashing the Scousers. The holiday fixture is going to be rough. October is going to be big. First match, right? That's the match I care about. The next match. That's the most important one.
I want to play Leeds, sir. That's the rival I want to see. That's going to be great. They're going to come into the EPL. I think they're going to do well. There's a Leeds season review on Amazon Prime Video. I was watching it. Apparently, Leeds was going to sign Dan James. It's in the series. Crazy. At you, Bosun, quote, hope next season will be less of a roller coaster ride. If Ole can get some consistency in the team, we should have a legitimate shot to secure top three without the need of an epic second half season run. The target of this season should minimize the gap to the top two. I think that's a realistic expectation. Ulrich, you look at this season, roller coaster ride, and if we don't sign too many big name players or we don't get Sancho, if we can get more consistency, you get the Dan James, the squad players doing a job, Ole can rotate, he's learning on the job as well, we can get better, get into the next window, maybe even January, and then sign some players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you're a bust, but like if you're gonna,
you seem a little disappointed. You want the big money. You want the big splash.
I want any.
You
money.
want the big.
No, I
you
want
the
any
sexy signing.
No, I don't actually. I want signings, bro. Like Gabriel's 22 million pounds. They're gonna pip him for 22 million pounds. That's the kind of signings we should make. We just making any signings. Tuanzebe was injured all of last season, bro. We're losing Jones. We're losing Smalling. We're losing Rojo. We need work. We need work. Let's go to top downloads.
All right, last tweet here at Keep Tony Smiling.
Seriously.
Quote, get ready to get smashed in fantasy. That's right.
There you go.
If you want to sign up at our fantasy league. We have the code on Twitter, posting on our website too as well. Doing a lot of things, sir. We'll be coming back with a podcast next week. We're going to be doing a few different things here, getting creative on the podcast in the offseason. Hopefully we'll have a transfer to announce. If not, we can just talk about the transfer news. Sir, and you can lament about how we haven't signed Gabriel.
I'll talk about Fred more.
Look, it's been a marathon podcast, sir. Thank you for everyone who listens and downloads. It's been an amazing season, and we want to thank everyone who's downloaded this podcast for fans by fans in the bunker. Not sweating as much as we are last time, but it's been a wild ride.
Working on a sweat.
If you'd like to support the podcast, drop a review on iTunes. We're almost at 300 reviews. Really appreciate it. 5 stars. We'll give you a free sticker. You email it to americanreddevils@gmail.com. Visit our blog, americanreddevils.com. We got merch. Click on store. Bring us some new stuff as well. And we're getting our Patreon page revamped as well. So if you haven't and you want to support us on Patreon, check it out. Sir, we've had some amazing downloads for the entire year. Top cities, last 12 months. kick us off here on the list.
Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Chicago, Illinois, top of the list. Number 2, New York, New York. Number 3, San Francisco, California. Sir, keep us going.
Los Angeles, El Trafico. Number 4, Dallas, Texas. Atlanta, Georgia. Hot Atlanta. Oslo, the Shire, Norway at number 7. Sir, keep us going.
Number 8, Dublin, Ireland. Number 9, Brooklyn, New York. And number 10, Granite City, Illinois. Appreciate all the downloads. Appreciate all the American Red Devil fans around the world. It's always darkest before the dawn. Things are a little rough this summer transfer window, but hey, Woody likes to leave it late. He likes to leave it late.
I'm not. I've gotten over the whole need for the sexy signings. I see what Ole has. We have a good base. New signings would help. Sancho wouldn't hurt. But if you look at the cash situation, it's the long con. We got to back our manager. We need to back this club. I don't think our goal is to compete for the title next year. It'd be top 4 plus the EFL plus an FA, sir. That's kind of more what we're going to be going for. But set your expectations and back this club. I mean, I don't need Havertz all day and Chelsea doing all this stuff. I don't need that. I want a good manager who understands the DNA of this club, who doesn't mess around the press, and I want good players who want to fight for the badge. And as long as I see that week in, week out, I'm a happy Manchester United fan.
Hey, I'm not calling out for these sexy name signings. I want signings. I want bread and butter signings, mate. Because Bruno Fernandes is already a much better number 10 than Kai Havertz. Are you kidding me? I'm not worried about Kai Havertz and Timo 4-touch Werner, bro. I just want to shore up the midfield, shore up the defense, kick on, and we should be competing for titles. So the expectations have been lowered because at the end of the day, this is Manchester United. This is the greatest club in the history of football, and we can't forget that.
What a day. What a pod. As always, sir.
Kicking a blue.